welcome back everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Arizona Unplugged channel. So I just got done servicing the generator. Very old generator. You know, the wife and I were talking about our backup power system, i.e. the generator, and snow is melting and coming off the roof. Oh, by the way, yeah, we got about a foot of snow. It's about third melted now. But anyways, going back to the generator, I started to think about how old this generator is, and I've had this generator for almost 20 years, and I bought it used. I bought it used about 20 years ago. I believe it was out of the Penny Saver, if you guys remember that Classifieds magazine way back in the day. And it still runs, but it's on its last leg. I can't find the starter motor for it. I've already purchased two and they were both wrong. Good thing I got my money back, but we decided instead of trying to keep this old dog going, we'll use this as the backup to the backup, and we're going to go buy a new generator. And that begins the story and the topic of this video. And I'd like to begin by giving a shout out to my buddy Mike over at Affordable Off-Grid Living. There's a link to a video he just put up in the description of this video. It's so nice, guys. You probably can't hear it on the phone, but the snow on the roof is melting and the water's going into my tanks, so it's a good sound. We're supposed to get another storm, I believe, next week, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, Mike over there today was talking about, you know, what it means to be free, and I agree with the guy 100%. And even though there's still some responsibilities when you own land, I think living like this is as free as you can get in this country. This is my personal opinion. And everybody says the same thing. Oh, you can own the land outright, but you still got to pay taxes every year. Yeah, I get that. I didn't say 100% free. I said more free. You're a little bit more free living like this. So that was a great video he put up. Go check it out. By the way, Mike, if you're watching this, I sent you an email. Just FYI. So the change of plans a little bit here. So originally, I talked about this back section of the power water room that I was going to put extend the roof down and put the fire suppression system here and a few other things. But I think I've changed my mind. And if you guys have any suggestions on this, I'd love to hear it. Just throw it down in the comments box. So back here is where all the electrical and water and everything. This is the water power room. So this is kind of the heart of our utilities. Our DWP, if it were. But what I'm thinking of doing is actually putting it on this side. You know, extending this shed maybe 6 or 8 feet this way. Keeping the dirt floor, probably putting gravel in here like I have for my water tanks. Just so we're not walking in mud or anything. But only have a roof and 3 walls. Keep the front of it open here. And this will be our access to the equipment, and it'll also give air to the equipment I want to put here, being the gas-powered 2-inch trash pump, the water pump that we're going to use for firefighting, God forbid if we have to, and also the new generator. We just purchased a generator yesterday. The generator that we have currently is a 4,000 watt, I believe, with 6,000 peak or something like that. The one I purchased yesterday is a 13,000 watt, so over triple the power of this one, and it has an electric start, and it's dual fuel, meaning I can run gasoline or propane. And I'm really interested in the propane aspect of it. As a matter of fact, I want to try to run it just on propane. One, propane doesn't go bad like gasoline does. Number two, it's not as messy as gasoline. And number three, it's easy to transport. You don't have to worry about a red gas can like that sloshing around in the back of your truck. So that generator is going to go in this little 3-walled, you know, open-ended shed. I want to pipe the exhaust to outside so I can actually run it in here without any problems. Another piece of equipment that I want to get in here also, and there's a reason for this, is either a diesel heater, you know, one of those little heaters that you could buy off Amazon for a couple $100, or a propane wall heater for the inside of this shed, because I'm going to upgrade the batteries. I'm actually going Monday, I believe, to one of the closer solar stores, and I want to hopefully pick up or order some of those lithium iron phosphate deals. I've been doing a lot of research on them, and they're just so much better than what I have, and I think ours are on its last leg, to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They still work. I've got 20 of them, the sealed lead acid batteries. I don't know if I can sell them, if I could recycle them, or I don't know. I know there's a place in San Diego, they actually buy old batteries. I don't know if there's a place like that around here, but I don't know. That's besides the point. What I'm going to do, how to dispose of these. I might keep them. I don't know, maybe as a backup. But we're going to get some lithium-ion batteries for our solar system, and extending this roof to accommodate the new, you know, indoor-outdoor shed area. I'll have plenty of surface area to put probably at least 10 more panels of these big ones that I have behind me. They're, I believe, 325 watt. Let's see. 315 watt. These are all 315. There's 12 of them, making kind of a 4,000 watt array. So I'm going to put new panels up here. I don't know if I'll do the panels this time, but I definitely got to get these batteries done, guys. These, I think there's a 3 to 5 year life expectancy on these batteries, and we've had them, I think, about 3 years now, so they're probably on their way out anyways. So we're going to upgrade, and I'll, of course, make a video all about that, what I think about it. Yeah, so indoor, outdoor shed, kind of off of the side of this, and it'll be nice. So the generator will be in there, the water pump for the fire suppression system will be in there, and the diesel heater slash, you know, possibly a Williams small wall heater inside, because those, one bad thing about those lithium ion batteries is they can't get cold. I believe like 40 degrees is the coldest they can get without getting damaged. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I saw that somewhere online. So on really cold nights, I'm gonna have to turn on the heater, whichever heater I decide to buy. But anyways, this room is gonna enclose all 3 of those, along with some other, you know, extra hoses for the firefighting. A lot of pipe and conduit will be in here for the electrical and for the fire suppression system. A lot of 2-inch PVC. What else is going in here? I can also store some propane bottles in here. Just a much needed storage area that I don't care if the wind kind of blows in there or whatever, as long as it's the majority of it's sheltered. And I'll probably have some sort of either big barn doors in the front that will stay open most of the time, or like a roll-up curtain, like a real thick rubber curtain that I can drop if I know if it's going to rain or snow, so that stuff doesn't blow inside of the shed area. So if you guys have any ideas, any suggestions on that, let me kind of get a backup view here so you can kind of see what's going on. Kind of hard to see with just the wall in the back. So I will have to, well, I guess if it's open air out here, that air conditioner can stay. I haven't really used it, just because last time it was hot out here, we weren't living here, so it wasn't on. But so basically just extending this whole cabin into its own separate room out here with a gravel floor, and putting all the gas powered equipment in there, so that way it has some air for the intakes of these motors. All the exhausts, of course, will be piped outside, so I don't have exhaust inside the enclosure. But that's kind of the plan right here. It's going to be kind of a utility room, whereas inside of this shed are the batteries, all the solar controls, my water pump, filters, all that stuff. That stays inside. More snow. So that's what that's going to be. So I want to talk to you guys, going a little bit more about Mike. over at, I'm hoping I'm getting his channel name right, Affordable Off-Grid Living. Great channel. It's kind of like my new favorite channel right now. So go check it out. Go subscribe over to Mike. He's a cool guy. I hope someday to meet him. He lives out here somewhere. I think probably more east of me. But he brought up the point, you know, how important it is to be prepared and whatnot. And I want to tell you guys an experience we had yesterday when we went all the way to Prescott to order our generator and to do some more shopping and whatnot. And the storm was rolling in, and we made it out pretty easily. That's why I'm so thankful I built up my big truck the way I did. I think my wife's truck might have had a hard time getting out just because it's so much lighter and a lot less, you know, rubber hitting the road, so to speak. But the idea of being prepared, it really shone its face yesterday, because on the way back, another part of the storm was rolling in, and the authorities actually shut off the 40 freeway going up to Flagstaff. And everybody knew about it because we got one of those alerts on our phone. You know what I'm talking about, right? Kind of like the Amber Alert, but it's like a severe weather warning. And it said on the warning, Interstate 40 going east past, what's that town? Ash Fork. Saying right there, it's closed. You won't be able to get up to Flagstaff going Interstate 40 east. So as we were getting home, the line we saw from Ash Fork looking west, it was beyond, further than the eye can see, and it was getting dark, so you can see headlights. It was beyond how far a headlight can be shown, because that line just went on for miles, and it was stopped. People were getting out of their cars, having snowball fights. And unless the authorities were bringing vehicles in to supply fuel, food and water and all that stuff. Got to remember, guys, we are out in the middle of nowhere. Even Interstate 40, where we're at, is the middle of nowhere. There's nothing here. Just freeway and mountains and juniper trees. That's pretty much it. So line for miles, tens of miles. I couldn't see the end of the line. It might have gone maybe a quarter of the way to Kingman. Who knows? Who knows? So I got off the freeway. Now I know all the dirt back roads. You know, even though that freeway was closed, I could still get home because I know the back roads out here, and I know my truck can make it. But there was people at the off ramp. I pulled over, and they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna jump in here and wait for it." I was like, "Dude, you're gonna prepare to sleep in your truck. The line's not moving. They're not gonna open it anytime soon." I mean, that line was just miles long. I was like, "Don't go." I said, "Go all the way down to Kingman," because one guy I was talking to is trying to get to his cabin in Prescott, where we just came from. And the only way to get to that part of the freeway is to get on the freeway and get off to go, I believe it's the 89 south. And I told him, "Don't do it. You're going to be sleeping in your truck. Don't do it." So there's a guy in a small little car, and I'll get back to that as well. Same thing. He's trying to get to Phoenix, you know, via Flagstaff, in his little 2-wheel drive car with his family in it. And I told him, turn around. Don't even try it. It's like, trust me on this. So the point I'm trying to get at is these people that ignored the warning and are now stranded in a tens of miles long traffic jam that is just bumper to bumper, stopped. People are getting out, throwing snowballs at each other, and the sun was going down. So the woeful, unprepared, you know what they say, the shite is hitting the fan. If that ever really did happen, I think the vast majority of human beings, even in this country that we have availability to get pretty much whatever we want, people are so woefully unprepared. You know, bringing a 2-wheel drive vehicle during a snowstorm up 6,000-7,000 feet elevation to Flagstaff after you got the warning not to go up there. I mean, the wife and I had a long discussion about that on the trip home, about how unprepared people are and how it's like blatantly blinded people can be when it comes to their own safety. I think they assume that they'll just be taken care of by whatever. Oh, we're stuck in traffic. If we run out of gas, someone will come by and help us. That doesn't always happen. I mean, we stopped for fuel in Ash Fork, and the gas stations were packed. Everybody was just sitting there. They can't go anywhere, so they were stuck there. You know, they couldn't go further uphill, and I guess they didn't want to go down to Prescott. And then any other way is just more snow. It was a madhouse. The gas station was like a mall. It was like a city mall. There were so many people in there in the bathrooms getting food. All the fuel pumps were taken, every single one of them. I see people getting out of their cars to walk into the store. They have no winter gear at all on. You know, like open toe shoes, shorts, t-shirts. It's like, God, man. The the inability to take care of oneself is staggering when you see some of these people out here. And I try to, you know, be blunt and honest when people are talking about moving off grid to, you know, the boonies like this. This is no joke, guys. This mountain has killed people. No doubt. My poor neighbor over here, he got stuck out, I believe it was last year or the year before. That guy almost died. And he has a big truck like mine. That doesn't mean you're going to make it. Moving off grid, when you're in a scenario like this, you have to be prepared for everything. That's why, one of the reasons why, you know, every time we get any kind of money coming in, it goes to improving our situation here. New generator, new solar, new this, new, you know, backup for the backups. You know, what do they say? 2 is 1 and 1 is none. That's why I want 2 generators. I want 2 sources of solar panels. I want multiple sources of water. It's just, that's just, I think, the mindset you have to be in if you choose to live like this. Yeah, it's just amazing what we saw last night. It was kind of disheartening knowing that these are the people that are around us. You know, I've always said the biggest danger you'll ever find in the whole wide world is a desperate person, especially desperate parents who are just trying to take care of their kids. Those are, I mean, if you're a parent and your kids are in trouble or they're hurting or they're suffering, those parents, I speak for myself, would do anything, and I'm talking drastic, evil stuff to protect their kids. So that's kind of what we saw last night. It was amazing to me to see. You know, I was surprised there were so many big rigs out there that I saw. These guys now, mind you, they have, you know, hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel to keep their motors going. Most of them have sleepers in it, so they have a bed, they have probably toilet facilities in there, food, clothing, that type of thing. So not as bad, but when you're in a Volkswagen, you know, what do they call, Jetta, 2-wheel drive, trying to go up the pass here in the snowstorm to Flagstaff, it's just it's astounding to me. Astounding. But, you know, what are you going to do? I think that's probably one of the reasons why I moved out here, is I just can't be around people that, you know, the elevator doesn't go to the top floor, you know what I mean? So that's about all I wanted to say, guys. Have you ever seen an experience like this where people just walk right into a dangerous situation, just oblivious to the possible outcomes? It was amazing what we saw. So today we spent most of the day scraping snow off of our decks. I did some maintenance on the generator. We got to have that going. It's going to take another week or so for our new one to come in. But I want to show you guys this generator. It's supposed to be really, really good. It's a Duramax. What were the letters? EX13000 HD, something like that. Home Depot sells them, Lowe's sells them, but I found out another thing we found out yesterday that's definitely different than San Diego. San Diego is kind of a hub. You got the ports there, you got all the freeways there. It's on the West Coast. If you want a generator, you could probably find the one you want somewhere in town. Here, even though, you know, like Flagstaff and Prescott, they're kind of bigger cities, they had maybe 3 different kinds on the shelf. Not one of them is what I want. And I went to about 4 or 5 different stores. I ended up having to order it. We don't have the supply chain as solid as some of these bigger cities. You know, like Phoenix. I think Phoenix had the generator I wanted. Otherwise, it's coming in from somewhere far. That takes a few days. So it is what it is. I didn't want to not buy the one I want because I did a lot of research on these generators and I got the one I wanted. So I'll definitely do an unboxing of that. So anyways, back to Mike. Check out his channel. Go subscribe over there. Cool dude. Yeah, he's a cool guy. It's kind of my new favorite channel. So I've been binge watching all his stuff, and he puts out a video pretty much every day, which is something I would like to strive to do. By the way, he's the one that actually recommended we do a live stream. So that's still going to happen. It's just right now we're dealing with, you know, Mother Nature and, you know, upgrading the homestead and all that good stuff. I believe I'm buying another water tank as well. Tell you, when I go to town and make some money, it's gone pretty quickly. You know, living like this, and you got to hand it to these guys, these homesteaders that move out. You know, speaking of Mike, same as Mike. They move out and they buy one of those sheds and turn it into a cabin, or in Mike's case, he has an RV. And you know, maybe the money situation isn't overflowing, so they're making do. You know, you got to give it up to them, their bravery. Me with wife and kids, I chose not to do that. I wanted to make sure everything is set and ready, and it took years to do it, guys. But before my family moves out here, I wanted them to be more comfortable. It is what it is. I think Mike is single without kids. At least I haven't seen any in his videos. But it's a whole different life. You know, if you're single and you're kind of lone wolfing it, you're going to do things different than if you have a wife and small children, elderly mother-in-laws, you know, teenagers that come in on occasion. You know, things are just different, and you got to do things differently. Everything's got to be fluid. You got to be able to roll with the punches. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, "It is what it is." You know, my generator starts going out. It is what it is. Let's go buy another one. It is what it is. So I'm gonna go back in the house. I think I'm done here for the day. I got the generator all ready if we need to use it in the morning, and hopefully I can get some more work today without having to worry about shoveling snow. Now we're supposed to get this next storm coming in, I believe, at the end of the week. You know, it's great having the moisture, you know, getting some water in the tanks, but I would much rather have the rain right now, because the snow is just a trickle of water in these tanks, whereas rain, any drop that hits the roof goes into a tank. So I really wish it would rain. I wish it was a little bit warmer when these storms came in, but again, it is what it is. As you saw the other day, I bought 2 new IBC totes, just in case we're going to have to go to town to haul in water. Again, IBC totes are great to have even if you're not using them. It's a great prep to have. So I've got those 2 new ones, and I've got 2 older ones that need to be cleaned out. But yeah, that's about it. I hope I don't have to haul water, but in an emergency, once again, you know, I don't want to be taking a shower and that last tank goes dry, and now we're stuck until I'm able to get back to town. So being preemptive as far as all the things that can happen, to be prepared, I think is kind of the epitome of homesteading, especially off-grid. You have only yourself to blame for failures and successes. So anyways, what do you guys think? This little 3-walled with a roof, little indoor-outdoor shed thing to house my equipment. I think right here is the best spot because the house is on the other side of this, so if I am running a generator or something, it won't be as noisy over there. So that's kind of my thought process on this. Plus there'll be a lot more room here than if I was to do it in the back like we talked about before by the little water tank. So anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. I hope you're all having a great weekend. I love you guys. If you're new here, my name is Vaughn. We live on almost 50 acres here in northern Arizona, off-grid with solar power, as you can see behind me, rainwater catchment as long as it rains, and just loving it out here, guys. We love this lifestyle. I think this is the way people are supposed to live, you know, more self-reliant. If you're new, please consider subscribing and stay tuned because we're still going to do that live stream. Hopefully it's going to be this week, but I will definitely let you all know. So until then, guys, prep and thrive. See you on the next one.